What's up, guys? My name is Austin, and this is the Bodies in Business podcast. And in this episode, I'm going to tell you why it's good to go the extra mile for good people, both figuratively and literally sometimes. This week, I actually drove like an extra hour and a half, or I guess it would be 2 hours, to go see a buddy of mine for dinner. And it was awesome to catch up with him. I hadn't seen him in a while, maybe been like 3 years at this point since we'd seen each other. But it was so fun to just have dinner, catch up, and he wanted to know a lot about fly bodies. So we did a deep dive into that. And then also he's starting to transition out of the military. And so we actually talked about how he's going to transition out and what kind of pathways he sees himself taking. And the reason why I say like go the extra mile for good people is because we are going to try to collaborate on a few things. And honestly, we probably wouldn't have signed up to collaborate on a few things had we not gotten together. And he's got great energy. He's a positive dude. And honestly, part of me was like, gosh, man, I'm already driving an hour to go to a school. Now I have to drive another hour to go see him. And then I have to drive an hour home. It was a lot of driving. But I was like, you know what? I rarely get to see this guy. He's put in the effort of wanting to meet up with me for dinner. And obviously I want to meet up with him too. And he's going to have to drive an hour. That was one thing I think that really showed me like how much he cared to want to meet up. And so it made me want to go, you know what? I'm going to drive an hour extra if he's willing to drive an hour extra. And we both were probably tired from working all day, but it was such a good dinner and I got so much out of it. And even if I didn't, I think it would have been so much fun to just catch up with them. I know people have kids and different obligations and can't always meet up with friends. I'm not saying to always drop everything to go meet up with friends that you haven't seen in a while. But there are times when we feel like, oh man, that's a little too far. Like I don't want to drive that much. Or, you know, I'm a little tired, or I've been doing, I just don't think it's going to, benefit both of us from us trying to get this done. And maybe that's the case sometimes. But for good people that want to be in your life and that want to try to make things happen with you, it'd probably be in your best interest to do the same for them and want to be in their lives and try to make things happen as well. And I'm gonna tell you about one more thing that also happened. I've been working with a guy who is actually on his way out, getting out of the Army, and he's been trying to help me get in contact with the marketing team for the Army guys, and we want to try to get FlyFit in the hands of recruits for workouts and stuff. And he's really been championing this initiative, and he's gotten me in front of the commander and also the head of marketing, and it's been super helpful. I mean, I think he sees the benefit in having FlyFit in the hands of his recruiters and getting in the hands of recruits. And so he asked me to come to his change of command ceremony, and I didn't know it was going to be like very, very official. Sometimes it's just like, here, take the guide on, take it back, and there's the change of command. But this was actually up at the Ronald Reagan Library, Presidential Library, and it was pretty darn cool to be up there. I'd never gone up there before, and it's in Simi Valley. It's out in the middle of nowhere, but it was a very, very surreal moment where it's just like, man, I hadn't been a part of a lot of military gatherings since I've gotten out of active duty, and it just brings you back. Like, I think the three things from that were just being back into the military setting, which I was in, regular clothes, so it wasn't like I was in uniform or anything, but I just felt the military vibe, which it gave me pride in being in the military. And then just going that extra mile, because it's about an hour, it was like an hour and 15 minutes from where I live to go to this thing for maybe like 30 minutes to an hour and then drive back. But also what I'll say is you never know what's going to come out of these things. Obviously I was just going there to be there for him, and he really appreciated it. And he was like, man, I really appreciate you coming out here. I could tell in his heart that it really meant a lot to him. And his parents were there, and he got a little choked up when he was giving his speech about being in command of not his battalion. Maybe it was battalion. Anyways, it's Army stuff, so I don't necessarily know exactly what it is. It's not squadron. But so anyways, to slow down a little bit, just go the extra mile for people, right? You never know what's going to come out of it. Just being there for some people is just helpful for them in some parts of their lives. And also, you're going to get a lot out of it too, because when you have good people in your life, it makes you want to be a better person. And the one thing I was going to say is I met one of his friends that actually was there, and he actually works for the LA Rams, and the guy worked basic training for the Army a little bit. And I was like, we're trying to help out basic trainees for the Army. He was like, oh, well, maybe I could plug you into some of the guys that I still know that work basic training. And so just out of that connection and going and supporting that captain was, very beneficial from just a life standpoint, but then also from a fly body standpoint, it was something where he's like, I love what you're doing. I'm going to try to help you out. If you're around good people, they're going to also attract other good people. And I know good people is a very, very broad term, but it just makes you think like, try to keep the best company you can around yourself so that you can make yourself better each day. And it's going to make you a happy person. So that's all I got. Be willing to go the extra mile for good people in your life, because you never know how it's going to give you a reward in your direction. You don't do it for that reason, because if you're just doing it for that reason, you're not going to see the benefit. It's not going to make you feel as good if you go somewhere and you're like, I didn't really get anything out of that. It's like, no, you're going there because you want those types of people in your life. So go the extra mile for good people, and thanks for watching, and get after it.